One night in June 2014, the peace of a quiet Jacksonville suburb was shattered. Harold Matthews, a retired police officer who is well respected in his community, was found dead. What first seemed like a simple break-in gone wrong quickly turned into something more sinister. Questions began to swirl. Why would someone target a retired cop known for his integrity? What was the real motive behind this seemingly random act of violence? As we peel back the layers of this case, you'll see that there's much more to the story than what first meets the eye. Harold's past and the secrets hidden within his own family began to emerge, suggesting that this was no ordinary crime. Join us as we delve into the lives intertwined in this mystery and uncover the truth that lies buried under the surface of a seemingly perfect family facade. Stay tuned, because this story is just beginning to unfold. Let's dive into the intricate dynamics of the Matthews family, which played a significant role in the unfolding events. Harold Matthews wasn't just a figurehead in his community, he was a cornerstone of his family, especially after the death of his wife. This tragedy left him visibly shaken, altering his once stoic demeanor. Harold's increasing presence in the home of his son Mark and daughter-in-law Jennifer began to reshape their daily lives. Jennifer, viewed by many as a devoted wife and mother, found herself at the center of Harold's world. Her compassionate nature drove her to care for Harold, attempting to fill the void left by his loss. This arrangement, however, started to strain her relationship with Mark, who was often away on business, leaving Jennifer to juggle the complexities of their home life alone. In the next part of our story, we will explore how this redefined family structure set the stage for hidden feelings and forbidden connections to surface. As we uncover these emotional entanglements, the story will reveal how deeply personal relationships can inadvertently lead to devastating consequences. As time went on, the once innocent interactions between Harold and Jennifer took a turn towards something more profound and complex. The seeds of an unlikely and inappropriate attraction were sown during a seemingly innocuous moment a cold evening when Jennifer wrapped a blanket around Harold. This simple gesture sparked a connection that both struggled to ignore. In the months that followed, the tension between them escalated. Casual visits turned into anticipated encounters, with each moment they spent together intensifying their secret longing. Despite the risks, their emotional affair began to deepen, moving beyond fleeting glances to stolen moments together. Our next section will reveal how this dangerous liaison continued to evolve, leading them to cross lines that should never have been crossed. As we move forward, the story will expose the perilous path they walked, a path filled with secrecy and deception that would ultimately lead to tragic outcomes. As the affair between Harold and Jennifer grew, they found themselves ensnared in a web of deceit. Each meeting was a mix of thrill and dread, with every secret encounter pushing the boundaries of their loyalties. They met in hidden places, carefully choosing locations where they wouldn't be recognized, creating a separate world that belonged only to them. This double life, however, couldn't last forever. The more involved they became, the greater the risk of discovery. Their meetings were shrouded in secrecy, paid for in cash and under assumed names, as they tried to maintain a facade of normalcy in their public lives. Despite their careful planning, the constant threat of being exposed hung over them like a dark cloud. In our following segment, we will explore the impact of this continued secrecy on their personal lives and the strain it placed on their relationships with others. As the affair pushes them into increasingly precarious situations, the reality of their actions begins to weigh heavily on their consciences. The strain of their secret relationship began to take its toll on both Harold and Jennifer. The guilt of their actions started to seep into their everyday lives, casting shadows over their interactions with family and friends. Jennifer, particularly, felt torn between her feelings for Harold and her duties as a wife and mother. This internal conflict left her grappling with feelings of shame and fear of the future. Meanwhile, Harold also struggled with the moral implications of their affair. The longer it continued, the more he questioned its sustainability. The complexity of their situation became increasingly apparent, prompting discussions about the potential end of their relationship. These conversations were fraught with emotion, as both Harold and Jennifer grappled with the idea of parting ways after being so intensely connected. Next, we'll examine how external pressures and suspicions began to converge, forcing Jennifer and Harold to confront the reality of their precarious situation. The encroaching scrutiny from Mark, combined with their own doubts, sets the stage for a critical turning point in their saga. As suspicions began to mount, the once discreet veneer of Jennifer's and Harold's affair started to crack. Mark, noticing subtle changes in Jennifer's behavior, grew increasingly wary. His instincts told him something was amiss. He observed Jennifer's frequent absences and her nervous demeanor upon his sudden arrivals. His doubts led him to a discovery that would change everything: a mysterious key hidden in Jennifer's purse, not belonging to anything they owned. This unsettling find propelled Mark into action. He didn't confront Jennifer immediately, choosing instead to investigate further. His search led him to a local locksmith who identified the key as belonging to an older type of lock, possibly a motel. This revelation confirmed Mark's worst fears and set him on a path to uncover the full extent of the betrayal. In the next section, we will delve into how Mark's quest for the truth unfolded, revealing the depths of the deception and setting the stage for inevitable confrontations. As Mark gathers evidence and plans his next moves, the tension in their household grows, leading to irreversible decisions and consequences. With irrefutable evidence in hand, Mark's approach shifted from suspicion to confirmation. He enlisted the help of a private investigator, Tom Grayson, to delve deeper into Jennifer's activities. Tom's investigation was meticulous and discreet, capturing photographic evidence of Jennifer and Harold at the very motel linked to the mysterious key. These photos served as the last pieces of the puzzle Mark needed to confront the harsh reality of his wife's infidelity. Armed with this damning proof, Mark faced a decision that would shape the rest of their lives. His initial reaction was to confront Jennifer directly, a confrontation that was both emotionally charged and revealing. During this intense exchange, Jennifer admitted to everything, her remorse palpable but insufficient to quell Mark's anger and hurt. Next, we will explore the aftermath of this pivotal confrontation. The fallout from the revelation impacted not just Mark and Jennifer, but their entire family dynamic. As the truth comes to light, the consequences of the affair begin to manifest in more ways than one, leading to decisions that will have lasting repercussions for everyone involved. Following the confrontation, Mark's feelings of betrayal morphed into a quest for revenge, driven by deep-seated anger and pain. His thoughts increasingly turned to punishing both Jennifer and Harold for their betrayal. He meticulously planned his actions, purchasing a gun in a clandestine deal and rehearsing his approach to ensure no trace would lead back to him. This planning was done with a cold precision, signaling a drastic shift in his demeanor from a betrayed husband to a calculated avenger. The tension within the household reached a peak as Mark kept his plans secret, maintaining a facade of normalcy while inwardly seething with the desire for retribution. His interactions with Jennifer became strained and distant, masking the storm brewing within. In the upcoming segment, we will examine the tragic culmination of Mark's plans. The consequences of his actions unfold on a fateful evening, leading to irreversible outcomes and shattering the family's foundation. As this story progresses, we witness how deeply personal grievances escalate into a full-blown crisis with widespread ramifications. On the fateful night of June 18, 2014, Mark's meticulously crafted plans came to a tragic fruition. He waited until he was sure Harold would be alone. Then, armed with the gun he had previously acquired, he made his way to Harold's house under the cover of darkness. The weight of his actions bore down on him as he entered the house, his movements calculated and silent. Inside, he found Harold in the living room, completely unaware of the imminent threat. Without hesitation, Mark confronted Harold, allowing no time for discussion or defense. The confrontation escalated quickly, and in a moment of overwhelming anger and betrayal, Mark pulled the trigger. The shots rang out, marking a grim resolution to his tortured plans. In the next section, we'll delve into the immediate aftermath of this devastating act. The murder set off a series of events, starting with the staged appearance of a robbery to mask the true nature of the crime. Mark's attempt to cover his tracks initiates a complex investigation that uncovers layers of deceit, ultimately leading to dramatic revelations and consequences for all involved. In the immediate aftermath of the shooting, Mark acted swiftly to stage the crime scene, attempting to disguise the murder as a robbery. He meticulously arranged the room and planted false evidence, hoping to mislead the initial police investigation. However, the calm facade he projected was in stark contrast to the chaos he felt inside. As dawn broke, the reality of his actions began to settle in, along with the fear of being caught. The police were quick to respond, and their investigation began under the assumption of a robbery, given the scene that had been set. Yet, veteran detectives were skeptical, noting discrepancies that did not fit a typical burglary. Their probing questions and methodical collection of evidence slowly peeled away the layers of deceit. Next, we will explore how the investigation shifted as detectives pieced together the clues that pointed to a much more personal motive. As the truth about the affair and the familial tensions came to light, the focus of the investigation turned towards those closest to Harold, unveiling secrets that many had hoped would remain buried. As the investigation deepened, the discovery of the affair between Harold and Jennifer turned the case on its head. Detectives uncovered the private investigator's photos and other incriminating evidence linking Jennifer and Harold in compromising situations. This new information shifted the narrative from a simple robbery to a possible crime of passion, involving intimate betrayal within the family. Investigators then began to scrutinize Mark's whereabouts and actions around the time of the murder. The once overlooked details of his behavior in the days leading up to the incident suddenly became crucial pieces of the puzzle. Mark's inconsistent alibis and nervous demeanor during questioning raised red flags, drawing the detectives' focus towards him as a primary suspect. Next, we'll see how the mounting evidence against Mark led to his arrest. The gloves he had worn, carelessly hidden in his garage and still containing traces of gunpowder, became a key piece of evidence. This breakthrough was a turning point in the case, propelling it towards a dramatic legal confrontation. As the walls closed in around Mark, the full extent of his actions began to come to light, setting the stage for the ensuing trial and its profound impacts on all involved. With the evidence mounting, Mark was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. The discovery of the gloves with traces of gunpowder was a damning piece of evidence that linked him directly to the crime scene. As the case transitioned from investigation to prosecution, the courtroom became the next battleground for uncovering the truth and seeking justice. During the trial, the prosecution presented a compelling narrative supported by photographic evidence, eyewitness accounts, and forensic data. The photos taken by the private investigator depicted Mark and Jennifer at critical times and locations, challenging Mark's claims of innocence. Each piece of evidence was methodically laid out to portray a story of deep-seated jealousy and calculated revenge. Next, we will delve into the trial's climax and its repercussions. The jury's deliberations and subsequent verdict not only concluded the legal proceedings, but also marked a turning point for everyone involved. As the final verdict was read, the profound implications for Mark, Jennifer, and their extended family were brought into sharp relief, showcasing the extensive emotional and social fallout of the tragic events. The jury's deliberation culminated in a unanimous guilty verdict, sealing Mark's fate to a life sentence without the possibility of parole. This verdict was not just a legal resolution, it was a profound statement on the consequences of Mark's actions, reflecting the gravity of the betrayal and violence that had torn apart the Matthews family. As Mark was led away in handcuffs, the impact of the trial's outcome resonated beyond the courtroom. Jennifer, now facing the reality of her husband's lifelong incarceration and the public exposure of her affair, had to grapple with her role in the events that led to such a tragic end. The trial had laid bare personal details and secrets that could never be taken back, fundamentally altering her life and that of her children. In the final segment, we'll explore how Jennifer and her children attempted to rebuild their lives post-trial, moving away from Jacksonville to escape the stigma and memories of the ordeal. They sought a fresh start elsewhere. This move marked a new chapter, one driven by a desire to forge a path forward from the ruins of their past, highlighting the enduring human capacity for resilience and renewal despite profound adversity. In the wake of the trial and Mark's incarceration, Jennifer took decisive steps to reclaim and rebuild her life. She and her children relocated, seeking anonymity and a fresh start in a new community where their history was not known. This move was pivotal, allowing them to escape the overwhelming public scrutiny and the painful reminders of their past that pervaded Jacksonville. Jennifer's focus shifted to creating a stable and supportive environment for her children, helping them to cope with the significant changes and the loss of their father figure in such dramatic circumstances. Her resilience became a cornerstone for her family's recovery, emphasizing healing and personal growth. As we conclude this narrative, the journey of the Matthews family underscores the complex interplay between personal decisions and their public consequences. Jennifer's story of starting anew illustrates the challenging process of moving forward while carrying the lessons and scars of the past, a testament to the strength found in facing adversity head-on. With this narrative coming to a close, it's evident that the paths we choose can lead to unforeseen consequences that resonate far beyond the immediate. For Jennifer and her children, rebuilding meant not just finding a new home, but also rediscovering their identities outside of the shadow cast by the events that once defined them. Jennifer's commitment to her children's well-being and her own personal recovery exemplifies the power of resilience and the human capacity to adapt and thrive despite past traumas. As they settled into their new life, the lessons learned from their ordeal informed their choices and interactions. This experience, while fraught with pain and loss, instilled in them a deeper understanding of trust, forgiveness, and the importance of integrity. Their journey is a reminder of the indelible impact our actions have on others and the possibility of redemption and renewal. Thus, the story of the Matthews family concludes, leaving us with reflections on the complexities of human relationships and the enduring quest for personal peace and redemption. Their experience serves as a poignant lesson in the consequences of our choices and the relentless pursuit of truth, urging us to consider how we navigate our own lives and the legacies we wish to leave behind.